Welcome to Zeniverse, meditation, and sleep music. Tonight, I welcome you not just as a guide, but as a kindred traveler on this sacred inner voyage. With years of devotion to the path of spiritual awakening and a heart overflowing with reverence for your journey, I invite you into a realm beyond thought, beyond form, a space where you are safe to let go. This is more than a meditation. It is a remembrance, a return to the essence beneath all striving, beneath all control. A journey into the stars, yes, but more deeply into the space within yourself where your soul has been waiting patiently. We begin not by seeking, but by softening. Let your breath be your anchor. Let the rhythm of your inhale and exhale guide you gently into stillness. Breathe in deeply, feeling the air fill your chest like a gentle tide rising. Hold that breath tenderly, as if cradling a secret within your heart. Then exhale slowly, as if releasing a feather into the wind. Let your breath be soft and unhurried, like the turning of stars, effortless and eternal. Again, draw in a breath and let it go with love. Notice how your body begins to settle, how your spirit starts to unfold. Now, place your awareness at the center of your forehead, your third eye. This sacred space holds the portal to your higher self. It is here that we begin to dissolve the veil of ego and awaken the radiant intelligence that has always guided you from within. You are not alone. I am with you. Your higher self is with you. And the universe itself leans in with love. Let us begin. You find yourself in a luminous spacecraft, drifting silently through the cosmic ocean. Through the curved glass window ahead, galaxies bloom like celestial flowers, their colors pulsing in lavender, sapphire, and shimmering gold. In the distance, one planet begins to shine more brightly than the rest, a golden orb that seems both inviting and intimidating. Your ship responds to your unspoken command. It begins descending gently, enveloped in a soft amber glow, drawn toward the first planet on your soul's route. As you near the surface, you see vast golden grids laid out in perfect symmetry, cities shaped like fractals and spirals, each building a mirror of the last. The entire world breathes with an eerie, mesmerizing order, almost too perfect. Stepping outside, the air feels still, controlled, rehearsed. Every leaf on every tree sways in unison, and the skies change color by an invisible clock. First coral, then gold, then pale blue. You walk slowly, your footsteps echoing like soft bells in the silence. In this world, the underlying belief whispers from every corner, I must be in control to be safe. It pulses in the way the roads are drawn with mathematical precision, in how the wind flows but never gusts. Everything is contained. Everything is managed. You soon arrive at a crystal platform, and in its center, a small stone hovers in midair. It shimmers with a soft inner light, not bright, but constant. As you hold it, images begin to flood your mind, moments in your life where control felt like a shield. Times when unpredictability brought pain or chaos, and control was the only anchor you knew. This stone is more than just a symbol. It holds your story. It carries the moments when control felt like love, like responsibility, like survival. But as you breathe with it, another layer unfolds, a truth long buried. Control, though comforting, is a cage when it becomes absolute. Safety, real safety, lives not in rigidity, but in resilience. In your ability to trust yourself when life moves beyond your plans. You sit quietly, letting that knowing settle in. The golden sky ripples above, and for the first time, one of the trees moves slightly off beat. It's subtle, but it's real. A sign that the system can breathe. You press the stone gently into your heart center. It dissolves into a warm light, spreading through your chest. You feel softer, freer. Not because everything is under control, but because you are connected to your inner strength. The golden world begins to fade, like a dream gently releasing you. Your ship awaits. You return to the vessel with a lighter heart, carrying the memory and wisdom of this world. Ahead, the next planet pulses on the screen, a deep indigo light. Your vessel hums gently as it moves forward, gliding through nebulae that shimmer in hues of midnight blue and opal. The second planet comes into view, cloaked in deep indigo clouds and crowned by rings of soft silver mist. There is a quiet magnetism here, as though the planet itself understands your unspoken fears. As you descend into its atmosphere, you notice how the winds shift like whispers, always circling but never settling. The landscape is made of reflective waters and floating isles, drifting slowly, never anchored. The ground beneath you seems uncertain, moving with your every step, as if testing your ability to trust. This world carries the ancient belief: if I let go, everything will fall apart. You feel it in the anxious rhythm of the tides, in the way nothing stays still for long. There's beauty here, but also hesitation, like a dancer afraid to move too freely. Walking along a crystalline shoreline, you find a second stone, translucent and humming with a nervous pulse. As you pick it up, you recall the moments when letting go felt impossible, when you clung to outcomes, to people, to plans. Because the unknown was too vast. Because uncertainty once equaled pain. But the stone begins to soften in your hands. Its pulse slows, and in its quieting, it reveals a deeper truth. True stability doesn't come from holding on. It comes from allowing. You realize the ocean does not panic as it changes shape. The stars do not mourn the loss of yesterday's constellations. There is a deeper intelligence in surrender. You hold the stone to your chest and feel your breath rise and fall like the waves. You are part of the tide. You can move with life, not against it. As you exhale, the island beneath you becomes still. The sky opens. You see the water ripple outward as if acknowledging your release. The planet does not fall apart, and neither do you. You return to your ship, the indigo clouds parting gently to let you through. On the screen, the next destination begins to glow, a fiery red orb on the horizon. The ship continues its silent flight, and ahead of you emerges a fiery red planet that pulses like a heartbeat. It radiates intensity, not of chaos, but of certainty. Conviction. As if every stone and gust of wind here believes it knows exactly where it belongs. You descend into a crimson sky streaked with scarlet and copper. The air is warm, dense with the hum of determination. Towering structures rise around you, shaped like blades, arrows, compasses, all pointing forward, each claiming to be the one true direction. This is a world sculpted by purpose, by command, by the fierce need to be right. Here, the core belief is unmistakable. Only I know the right way. You walk through a city of decisions carved in stone. Everything is built with such precision, and yet, something feels tight in your chest. There's no room for wandering here. No space for curiosity or soft unfolding. You approach a pedestal of obsidian, where a third crystal floats, glowing red from within. As your hands wrap around it, your memories return, moments where you stood firm, certain, unwilling to let go of your vision. Times when trusting others felt like risking everything. This belief may have once protected your integrity. It may have been born from betrayal, from the pain of following another's path and being led astray. But now, as the crystal warms in your hands, it begins to crack open, not to break, but to reveal. A softer light emerges from within, one not made of certainty, but of humility. You begin to remember wisdom isn't about always knowing. It's about being willing to listen. The red winds calm. The compasses on the towers begin to spin freely. You realize letting go of control doesn't mean losing your truth. It means making space for new truths to meet you. You place the crystal over your heart. It melts into a radiant heat, not burning, but awakening. You feel your body expand, no longer needing to lead every step. No longer needing to be the one who always knows. With one final look at the shifting city of red, you turn and return to your vessel. The screen flickers with one last destination, a planet of glowing green and deep, forgiving silence. The vessel glides onward, leaving behind the scarlet planet as a new hue begins to bloom before you, a radiant green world, soft yet vibrant, like an emerald cradled in the cosmos. It seems to pulse with a steady rhythm, as though breathing with you. As you descend, the atmosphere feels gentler here. The air is filled with scents of moss, rainfall, and blooming things. You step out onto a living world, forests of spiraled trees, flowers that glow softly from within, vines that stretch toward the sun, but never strangle. Everything here grows freely, and yet there is no chaos. This planet carries a quieter burden. If I don't control myself, I'll be too much. You walk among the wild beauty and sense the energy of suppression, not from the land, but from within. Memories surface of times you held yourself back. Times when your light was dim to make others comfortable, when joy was hushed or anger was swallowed. When you believed that your full expression might overwhelm the world. In a clearing, on a bed of glowing moss, rests the final crystal. It is green, flecked with gold, radiant, alive. As you lift it, you feel a quiver through your chest. This one is tender. This one remembers. But slowly, it begins to vibrate, not with fear, but with potential. And in its resonance, a message rises. You were never too much. You were only ever not fully received. And that was never your fault. The forest around you begins to shimmer. Leaves open wider. Flowers blossom in real time. You are not a disturbance to harmony. You are harmony when you let yourself be whole. You press the crystal to your heart. It dissolves into light that moves like roots through your being, grounding you in your right to exist, fully, unapologetically, beautifully. And as you look up, the sky begins to clear. Above you, the outline of Earth appears. Familiar, complex, human. You walk back to your ship with a soft steadiness, holding now not one crystal, but 4 lessons, integrated like the seasons of your soul. Your journey is not over. It is coming home. As your ship begins its final descent, you feel the weightlessness of space give way to the grounding pull of Earth. You peer through the window and see familiar continents, oceans, clouds moving gently across the surface. But something has changed. It's not the world that is different. It's you. You land softly, not just on Earth, but into this moment, into your body, into yourself. And yet, you carry something new. From your hands, the 4 lessons rise once more as light. They orbit around your heart, then merge into a radiant symbol, a constellation born from your willingness to surrender. This symbol is not something you must remember. It lives in you now. It pulses quietly in your breath, in your voice, in your choices. It will remind you, when you forget, that control was never your purpose. Presence was. Close your eyes now and return to your breath. Feel your body resting upon the earth, your shoulders soft, your chest open, your belly rising and falling with ease. Breathe in trust. Breathe out control. Breathe in acceptance. Breathe out resistance. Feel the journey settling in your cells. There's nothing you need to do. You have already arrived. From this space, allow yourself to fall gently into sleep or to remain in the stillness, bathed in peace. You are free. You are whole. And you are home. And now, let yourself drift gently in this space of peace. Stay here with the music and allow it to hold you like stardust cradled in the dark. Let each note wrap around your breath, soothing your nervous system, softening your thoughts. You don't have to return right away. The healing continues, even in stillness, even in dreams. Stay and rest.